Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, he's Ben, king of all monsters.
You know, I said that I kind of hope like we keep this episode a bit tight, just because, you know, lots of irons in the fire and all that. You know what didn't keep it tight? Fucking Godzilla 1998 with that runtime. What are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing? Dumping on the 147 like that. 17 extra minutes is bad enough, and now you're pulling out, what was it, like 2.5 hours?
Yeah, It's a bloated Hollywood film.
Oh, it was.
As Roland Emmerich was making at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was like the first thing I wrote was, what's this time I'm seeing down here? What? There better be a lot of credits at the end of this. No, indeed.
Nope. It is a American movie, so it gets to be over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. We're talking about Godzilla today, by the way.
Yes,
we got Godzilla 1998, which is the first American-made version, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Directed by Roland Emmerich and put out by TriStar.
And then we got Godzilla 2000.
Which came out in Japan. 2000 Millennium, which came out in Japan in 1999.
And then Godzilla vs. something,
Megaguirus.
Yeah, I definitely knew that was a soft G. And then the last one is Godzilla vs. Everybody, basically. I don't know the actual title of it.
Godzilla.
It's like versus Mothra something and
Mothra.
King Ghidorah. All monsters, Mothra and all monsters or something.
It's giant monsters all out attack is the full thing. I like how the credits come in on that one because it's like Godzilla, then the bottom thing because I have subtitles for that part, and then the big, which I assume is the other monsters, and then it's Godzilla, comma Mothra and King Ghidorah, giant monsters all out attack.
So,
also known as GMK according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, naturally, that's what I got. Hollywood Godzilla was fucking weird. After watching however many films we've watched and not having any experience with the American versions prior, it was like a slap in the face.
It's not very authentic to Godzilla
and
at all.
I was trying to be unbiased, and I don't think I can. I don't actually it didn't work. I'm like, this isn't Godzilla. This is just some cheap knockoff. It was just, yeah. It was well done.
Yeah, I think it's in. I forget if it's in Megaguirus or in Monsters All Out Attack, but we get a line about. It's in Giant Monsters All Out Attack. There's a line at the beginning of that. It was like, there have been other monsters have been appearing elsewhere, and they're like, something attacked New York, and they're like, didn't Godzilla attack New York? They think it was Godzilla. Our people are skeptical it was Godzilla.
Yep. Same though.
Toho actually does rebrand this monster as just a different creature,
which makes fucking sense. It was very clearly not Godzilla.
It's just not Godzilla. I will say also for Giant Monsters All Attack, they thought about changing Godzilla's posture so that his tail stuck out like that. Like, he walked like like an actual T-Rex or an actual dinosaur. But the guy in the suit wasn't working.
That sounds right.
It was too hard for him to walk around like that. Suit. So they stuck with the upright posture,
which is better.
Which I think works for this fantasy monster. It doesn't need to be just a dinosaur. Whereas this movie is just a Jurassic Park ripoff.
That is exactly what I fucking put in my notes. I'm like, if they wanted to make it Jurassic Park, why don't they just fucking make it Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I don't. They needed that, hot marquee name recognition of Godzilla.
I think one of the the weirdest things was, and this is I assume this is just kind of classic Hollywood, that they don't show him right away. Like we get his foot, we get like a little bit of his tail, we get the ridges in the water, and it takes like, I don't know, a half fucking hour before they actually show him. Meanwhile in Japan it's like, boom baby, he's back. Like they don't bother with it at all. Even in like the original one, I don't think there's any of that like, oh, it's a giant monster, what does it look like? No, fuck it, it's just Godzilla, man. He's here and he's destroying shit.
There is some of that in the giant movie, but not like, oh, you're seeing his foot, his tail. It's more like, oh, there's a storm coming, and everything's getting wrecked, and you don't see any of him.
You definitely see that build up.
And then when you see him, he's just fucking there. No. He's just like, oh, there he is over that hill.
Yeah, that's like, you get the little like build up, but then he's just like, boom.
Yeah. Well, because like the Japan films are not embarrassed by their effects. They're like, we've got dudes in giant rubber suits, man. That's what you're here to see. Whereas this is like, oh, we got to make it more realistic. CG, have him like darting through buildings. Also, he's much smaller. This little lizard
this Godzilla.
Boy.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because like, the part where he actually finally shows up and all the like the ground is shaking and all the
she. It is a
they
she.
call him he in the film.
Also, they do, but they're wrong. She lays a bunch of eggs.
No,
they figure it out by the end of the movie.
Okay, but it's like, all right. So this movie is in 1998, and it's 2018.
Yes.
It's asexual reproduction, and they just decide to go with he.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna.
I'm just saying that. No, like I'm just saying that's.
I don't think it actually matters.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm just following Matt Broderick,
but
which is terrible.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I don't know. I don't even remember, but I thought they figured it out by the end. That it was the other way around.
I was too angry.
I don't know. And again, it's a she because I'm thinking of, it's more like Jurassic Park, where all the dinosaurs are female.
Yeah, that's fair. You could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked.
Considering what they're ripping off.
Original film's logic to the clearly ripped off version. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll go along with that.
Yeah.
Or instead of he or she, we can just call it stupid fucking lizard thing. Its real identity.
Its official designation is Zilla. Ugh. It doesn't get. They took the god off when Toho started using it. Great. So
let's really kick it down. I mean, it deserves it. But yeah, when it's like stomping around when the mayor is giving that little speech and like all of the cars are shaking and it's like significant. Like Jurassic Park didn't have that much fun. Like you had the water moving a little, but this like every time it takes a fucking step, like all of the cars bounce significantly, and I'm like, it doesn't look nearly big enough to achieve this effect on such a wide scale.
Yeah. Also, like it really just glides around. It doesn't. What it actually is doesn't match up with that at all because it's pretty.
It's light on its toes, sleek. And it's not. Yeah, it's not like you even like traditional Godzilla. He's just kind of fucking stomping. This thing is like, it has that look, so it's literally just on its toes, like a thing.
They lose it. They can't find it. It disappears.
But it's also just. It's also just not Godzilla to me because it's not Godzilla, just some dumb animal. It's just instinct, like it doesn't have any personality. It's not the Godzilla I love.
Yeah, it's just not authentic. I like that scene. I do like that scene with the fisherman guy. He catches it.
Yeah, and he just stands on the dock for eternity while the fucking wave comes at him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like when they finally started. So the other thing about this movie is it was promoted to hell. There was so much advertising for it So that I think like the first actual part of the movie they showed was that scene of that fisherman dude running. So that was super spoiled before anyone saw the movie. But like the big advertising thing they would do was like they would show, like on the side of a bus, they would say like his foot is this big. They would like do all this stuff, and then there were Taco Bell tie-in advertisements were also big.
Sounds terrible.
There's a lot of advertising around this movie because it's a bloated blockbuster Roland Emmerich thing coming off of Independence Day.
Oh, he also did that. I could see that. That doesn't.
He became the disaster movie guy. He made Independence Day. He made Stargate. He made The Day After Tomorrow.
Okay,
I think are the big ones. He also made. He also directed Stargate and The Patriot. Mm-hmm. And 2012, 10,000 BC.
All right, so we're gonna just.
And most hilariously, he did Anonymous.
Don't know that one.
Which is about how Shakespeare didn't write Shakespeare. So I didn't see that one. He made the Independence Day sequel, which is terrible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's made a lot of dumb movies. But this was before his formula had gotten incredibly stale.
Before he went
at this. Like, I don't actually...
Yeah, before he went full Shyamalan, where he just does the same thing over and over.
Yeah, this is like really only his second time doing this exact same thing. But yeah, so these large cast disaster type movies kind of become defined by him, for better and worse, at this period of time. And I don't hate this movie. Actually, and I liked it as a kid.
Yeah.
But it never really, again, it never feels like a Godzilla movie. It feels like a knockoff Jurassic Park, which is I'm still into. I still like dinosaurs. The characters in this are all terrible.
Oh my god,
but,
dude!
One
of the first good scenes that I liked was when the chick half betrays him, and all like the the tape comes out on the news, and all this information comes out, and he gets kicked off the operation. His denying sounds are terrible. He's like, "I didn't do it. Come on, guys. What? I didn't give her the tape. Of course not." It's just awful. And then the military guy is like, "Pack your stuff, mister." Literally says, "Pack your stuff, mister." And it's like this gruff military dude. And I'm like, shit. Y'all trying to keep a rating here? That's terrible. Just awful.
Look, the one person who I like in this movie is Jean Reno, because Jean Reno is great.
That's Leo Professional. Okay. Yeah, yes. I've made that too. I'm like, damn, he's looking rough. He's falling on hard times. But yeah, no, he's great. He's just good. He's just good in general.
But I think this movie really sets a good tone by introducing its female lead with having her boss sexually harassing her. It's just a good tone for the rest of the movie.
98, baby.
He's like, "Yeah, I'll give you a promotion. Go on a date with me."
The 90s are wild.
Rough times. So the other reason I was kind of more invested in this movie is a lot of it was like they actually filmed it in New York, and even in the parts of New Jersey they filmed a lot of stuff even in my neighborhood.
Nice.
In Jersey, though that's barely in the movie.
Are you like in the background of any shots? Are you sure?
I think there's like only one outdoor shot of my neighborhood in the whole movie. They were here for a really long time. They filmed a lot. The worst thing they did while filming, though, is they tore down a local landmark to film this movie. They tore down the dead tree that had beer cans hung all over its branches.
Shit.
And they tore it down. The sons of bitches.
That sounds like something that only the locals care about. Yep. I know. We have that exact same shit in my town.
Yeah. But they would film scenes like, oh, all these people are standing under an umbrella while a rain machine is on them. So in the movie, it really doesn't matter where the fuck they are. But the other hilarious thing is, you know how in this movie, it's constantly storming and raining all the time? It's like, it's kind of a way to mask the CGI. They had to delay filming of this because it stormed too hard. And they couldn't. And filming real storms, that's not going to work. You need fake storms, and the real storm was just getting in the way.
Jesus. That's so annoying. That's so annoying to hear. Fuck. It's raining. Put the rain machine away. Get it out of here. You got to delay.
Cancel filming.
Yeah.
Can't do anything today.
I was going to jump in the sprinkler out in the yard, but it started raining.
So I was sitting outside. Yeah. So those are my outside the movie notes about this one. Yeah.
It's annoying part of it, but
yeah, it's just really it's disaster movie formula mostly. And there's a giant dinosaur who at one point like kind of breathes fire. It doesn't really make sense in this movie.
Yeah, I watched that.
It just suddenly it goes raw and then there's fire. You're like, what?
I watched that scene like 4 times and I'm still not sure. Like, you go back and you look at it and it doesn't show it explicitly coming out of its mouth, but yeah, no, it's just like
no. There's like hot air comes out and then suddenly there's fire just in the air.
Oh, also
it definitely has the adaptation problem of being like embarrassed by the source material it's based on, which is a classic Hollywood thing.
I don't know if I mentioned it right away, but also it's roar. Like it just clearly does not, like, the least they could have done is have it sound like Godzilla, but no. It's just your super generic bullshit dino growl. Also,
totally.
They had it swimming underwater very effectively. I don't know that it would swim underwater that effectively.
I mean, in all the movies after this, the regular Godzilla movies are all about Godzilla swimming underwater.
Yeah, that's totally different.
They start showing him in CGI swimming underwater too.
That.
It's just like it's real ugly.
He also flew though. He did like his little whatever.
Yeah.
It's different because it's Godzilla. Like, whatever. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But here we have a realistic like dinosaur thing, and it's like just because it has a big ass tail doesn't mean it's gonna.
Look, it should have feathers. It's gonna be a realistic dinosaur.
But it's an iguana based.
Well,
whatever.
It's a Jurassic Park knockoff though, so it can't have feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They did have to say, like, our dinosaurs in the new ones, right? Like, our dinosaurs don't have feathers. Deal.
Because people know dinosaurs from, like, big, scary lizards. Because we're old men, and we remember the good old days when dinosaurs weren't
chickens.
Understood to have feathers.
Weren't slabs of meat waiting to be served up at Christmas?
Dinosaurs are better with feathers. That's my stance. It's more true. Feathers. I remember learning about the feather shit as it was being discovered. It was dope. As they were like more and more like, no. They all had.
Yeah, like at first it was just like somehow this kind does. Oh,
somehow maybe this is where dinosaurs came from. Maybe they turned into birds.
Jesus.
Like we were just wrong. They were not just giant lizards. They were more like giant birds. Whoops.
Yeah. Well, that's most of my, like, that's pretty much everything I had to say about 98. It's just a bastardization of the series. It's gross.
Yeah. Again, I like the egg thing with all the mini dinos because I like Jurassic Park and I like raptors. So that's fun. Yeah. It's a thing. And the way they kill Zilla at the end of this movie sucks. Yeah. It's terrible. She just gets shot by jets and it dies. It's so bad. That's the worst part. There are plenty of other flaws. That was always the part that made me the most mad. Just kill her so easily after all that. Oh.
Yeah, it was.
There's that fish scene where they get all that fish.
That annoyed me. That was the moment I realized like we're not even.
What was she eating if they had to get that much fish for her? Well, like when you start thinking about it.
Like, my thing was someone was like, "You think she was just eating all that food for herself?" No, it was for the babies. She's a giant fucking dinosaur. How do you know what she's eating? Like, what? Like, oh my god, we know literally like dick all about this creature, and you're like, obviously she has fucking kids. Look at how much she's eating. Oh my, just terrible.
Yeah. Like even the like it's so not a part of the movie that it's created by nuclear radiation in this movie too. Like it could just have been an ancient dinosaur from that happened to be around. Like there wasn't actually a need to have the radiation thing, except that they're adapting Godzilla, so it's got to be in there.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And we got these big worms, dude. These worms that aren't that fucking big.
Yeah. No, it was weak.
Like at least in Godzilla movies, you had those sea lice. Those were big fucking sea lice,
dude.
They were big sea lice. Those worms were not very large. They were slightly larger than average worms.
Someone just went down to the bait shop and picked up night crawlers instead of earthworms. Look how big they are.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the popular opinion on this movie is honestly a little harsh because it's pretty universally pooped on. Yeah. But I think it's fine. It's just not Godzilla. It's not a good adaptation of Godzilla. It's a fine,
it's a decent,
Jurassic Park knockoff, which is like not still a thing I like, even though the characters are fucking awful, and it's too long, and the ending sucks. Other than that, it's fine.
So,
also, it had an animated series that was a direct follow-up to it.
Oh boy,
it ran for many seasons. We'll get to that at some point.
So,
but yeah, that's enough about Godzilla 98. It's kind of not really a Godzilla movie, but it has Godzilla in the title. It was presented as Godzilla at the time, so I think it was worth.
It's important to watch, I think, especially for this.
Yeah, I think it's also it also it gets it influences other later movies too, like the next movie, the Legendary Pictures one, the next American one is a reaction to how this was received, and Toho does some like we got a taste of it here, but they have a bigger response coming also. So then the next year, Toho was like, "All right, that contract's over. We've licensed out our character. Now we can go back to making it ourselves." And we get back with Godzilla 2000 Millennium.
Which
is more of like, it's just kind of, a simpler Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
And a little classic.
It had the unfortunate circumstance of being following 98 immediately. So a lot of my notes are just random scribblings of like, "He's back, baby. Oh, there's the sound." Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And this one actually did none of these other ones did in this era, but this one did actually come to theaters in the US for a very limited screening. I remember when it happened, I super wanted to see it, but it was I just couldn't get to it. I never figured out where it was ever playing or what time, so I missed it in theaters. I was very upset. Because I still wanted to see it. But, yeah, none of the other ones after this did that, but they did it for 2000. And mostly it confused people, because people didn't understand, because people are dumb. Brand confusion.
So, I don't know. I like, as usual, I started out by asking, is this a sequel, or is this an alternate timeline sort of deal?
So all of these movies are direct sequels to the original movie, ignoring all the other ones, and obnoxiously ignoring each other's. They're just like, yep, here's another direct sequel to the original. Here's a direct sequel to the original. Here's a direct sequel to the original. I don't know why they decided that was what they were going to do, but that's what they decided they were going to do right here at this point.
I don't mind it, honestly. Especially for this one, I liked the introduction with, like, they're watching Godzilla like we would watch a hurricane, basically.
Yeah, it's Godzilla but Twister. Because they're like the tornado hunters, but they're following Godzilla around. It's a neat idea, and like the big thing I like about this movie, it's like, particularly this one, stripping it back to just the original. It's like, we're just gonna give you a basic Godzilla movie. Like, there's Godzilla, we'll give you a monster, an alien, and like, but it's not that complicated.
Yeah, there's still like there's space stuff, but honestly, I bitched about some of the space stuff in the past, but this, like, it just wasn't that overdone. Maybe because, like, we didn't we didn't have a bunch of guys in silver suits as aliens with, like, all this other shit.
Yeah, they didn't overcomplicate it with, like, also complicating the human storyline with all the alien stuff. It's only the giant monster side where the alien is, and I think it actually is much more effective that way, because it feels more alien. It feels more
we don't
like
know.
Weird.
It helps when your alien doesn't just look like a guy. It's really unless you're Contact and taking that way out.
They're not space cockroaches.
Yeah, that's right. The half bugs. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I like this design of Godzilla that they use in this movie. They also use it. They use the same suit in the next one, but this was a good design. He looks pretty cool. Although he has that weird, like, neck thing. His neck sticks out a little far.
Like a little gobbler.
It's weird.
A little giblet or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like side giblets.
Oh yeah.
It's like it looks like Cardassians from Star Trek, Deep Space Nine.
I wouldn't know what those look like.
They have extra neck cartilage going from on the sides of their necks to their shoulders.
Okay. Sounds not cereal friendly, but yeah, sure. Cartilage is not a cereal friendly word.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about sharks, then it's okay.
But yeah, so we've got these guys who find this meteor under the sea, and they're like, it'll be a new source of energy, because meteors, that's a renewable resource.
Yeah. I really like all the underwater shots were pretty cool. Like, I think those are well done.
Yeah, other than the CGI Godzilla,
CGI is pretty rough.
It's pretty like a lot of the effects work in these, as we're getting early computer effects stuff. That stuff doesn't age well, because we started using computer effects before they were ready. They were undercooked.
Like, even
when they started getting made use in movies.
I mean, despite, like, we can laugh at it and stuff, but any of the kind of garbage practical effects from earlier Godzilla films are so much better to watch now than the garbage CGI.
It's just true.
I
think just more. They're just more appealing to look at.
It adds that level of, like, charm and even a bit of humor, which, I guess that's subjective whether the humor part is good or bad. But, like, CGI, that UFO and, like, Godzilla underwater, it's just rough. Just hurts to look at.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is with CGI, as it's gotten better, you just look at the older stuff and it just looks worse and worse to you. Like, it just doesn't age at all.
Nope.
And and what you're working with here is not stuff. It's not cutting edge stuff. It's not stuff that looked great at the time either. Like, there is old CGI that still looks pretty good.
I mean,
but it's like the exception rather than the rule, and it took a
Yeah,
lot
I was
more
gonna
work.
say, like, Godzilla 2000, didn't that come out the same year as The Matrix?
Yeah.
One of those looks a little bit better. It's Godzilla.
Uh,
And, like, I don't know, maybe that's comparing apples and oranges, but just saying. It's there.
yeah, it did come out after The Matrix. The Matrix
Oh,
was a movie
it's
that
even worse.
existed before
If
this.
it had come out before, at least we could, throw him a bone and say that the technology was developed.
no.
And
No, it came out in December of '99.
Oh,
End of
okay.
the year. And Matrix was like in March.
Gotcha. Well, between, shit really declined in those few months.
There's a bit at the beginning I really like where the guy's getting hit in the head over and over again. That's a good
That
tone
was
setter.
solid, yeah.
It's a good bit. And he doesn't want to like make a big deal about it. He doesn't want to speak up. He's just like, no, he just like holds his head and is
Yeah.
sad.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Another really minor scene is when dude is putting his motorbike on the back of his car and like his neighbor or whatever helps him. And then he's just like, oh, you stink. And the guy starts sniffing his armpits and he's like, no, your hands.
Yeah.
And it never makes any
Yeah.
fucking sense, but it's there.
Yep. This, among
that's so
many
good.
other things, is why I put in my notes, it's good to be back. Like, just this, whatever. I really,
Yeah.
one of the things that I kind of, it's like the fucking John Mulaney sketch or whatever about, like, What's New Pussycat, like, 27 times in a row, and then you do one, it's not unusual. That sort of deal. Like, just with so many Godzilla films, and we watched Godzilla 98, and we come back to this, and you just notice all this extra shit. I really appreciate the music. It's like, it's
Totally.
good. I don't think I'm ever gonna get a Godzilla, like, soundtrack. That's just, there's not really a desire there. But it's just such a part of its roar. Like, even the sound design is just such a big part that it's missing. It's just visibly, audibly missing from 98.
No, totally. Like, particularly, like, it's just it's a core thing to
Yeah.
me with Godzilla is
Yeah,
the sound.
absolutely.
Like, the particular tracks, his roar, like, it's just, it's key to what makes it work as a
Yeah.
film.
Yeah,
sure.
that's just, it's just kind of always there, and it's just nice. I don't know. So that was a big thing that I noticed just coming back, which
Yeah.
I think was maybe just, I was starting to take it for granted because we've just watched so many of them in a shorter period of time.
Yeah. And then you spend 2 hours with a movie
Where
that
are
doesn't
the
do
strings?
it. Man. Oh, I miss those. Look, I still miss those 130 movies, though. That was the right time. These movies they're just a little bloated.
No, 130
Even though-
was so perfect. It was so perfect. The only things I could think of, like, I think it was the second Godzilla had that weird fight scene where there's no music and it's just like the monsters screaming, and it's kind of haunting and really
Yeah.
fucking creepy. That's like the only thing I can think of that 98 beats in terms of sound, because that scene was just not comfortable. Like, late at night, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't like the feeling that I'm getting right now. This is what it should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, Raids Again is pretty rough.
Yeah. So, good to be back with the sound. I do,
Yeah.
as far as the CGI goes, I think, like, the stuff for Godzilla and the general UFO was, by the way, meteorite turns into UFO. People don't know. That's the thing.
The rock just
Yeah,
like flies
it's still
away.
a rock.
It's pretty good. Like, they tie balloons to it, and then suddenly it just starts rising on its own. Like, it's like, fuck yo, balloons. And then it sits on the surface of the water, and they're like, how is it floating? It shouldn't be floating.
Yeah.
And then it turns 90 degrees, and you're like, what the fuck? The thing I really like about this villain, this alien thing, is how it keeps changing. It's
The
just
squid
like
thing was so much
keeps
worse.
doing different
The squid
stuff.
thing was so
Yeah.
much worse.
So then it flies away. Then it like gets blasted by Godzilla at some point and starts to reveal this like silver underneath this like molten rock that's on top, and then it reveals itself to be a UFO, and then it becomes Orga eventually, and it's a good transition.
Yeah.
And before that, it's just, got all these tentacles. It's like, hey, did you ever want to see Godzilla grabbed by tentacles?
Because here
Now
you
you
go.
got it.
I thought the attack effects are like those are improving a lot. I think there's still it's early in this one, but like by the time we get to Godzilla and the gang take on the world, like they're looking pretty sweet. And this was kind of the like between, I forget what the one we would have watched before 98 is, that round, but like even between then and Godzilla 2000, like noticeable improvements. They still are a little rough to look at, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, totally. They're definitely getting better. And it's like, because those original effects were like of like them drawn on the film or whatever. They did to do that.
It's like that early.
And there's definitely more like all that energy of like Godzilla powering up and his black glowing is pretty good. The back glowing stuff that they definitely are pushing more at this point.
And it's not just a layer of whatever.
Yeah. The other thing of like about these movies now is that they're way more focused around Godzilla. It's like so many of those older movies, like Godzilla just happens to be there. But these are like, no, we're going to like make our monsters like of Godzilla. Like this one and and Megaguirus are both movies where the villain just like sucks up Godzilla juice to make themselves more like Godzilla. Which I'm into because it reminds me of Biollante, which was
that's
great.
what I was thinking. I like in 2000 that it's pretty literal. Like he just puts Godzilla in his mouth. Like entirely. Like he almost swallows all of Godzilla.
He unhinges.
Yeah.
I love that scene because it's like Godzilla's looking at him like with the cutaways, and it's like you could just write over dialogue. So you're like, what the fuck? Or like unhinges his jaw, like this big fucking mouth orifice opens up, and then Godzilla's like, I got this, and jams his head right in there.
It's so good.
And then he like just blows the fuck out of him. GG.
Yeah.
Not armored in here. Because like the big thing of the fight up to that point is he like blasts Orga, and then it like regenerates. So it's like a Dragon Ball villain, like Cell or Majin Buu. Very anime. But once he gets inside there, nope.
The ending was
All
kind of
fucked up.
dark. I thought it was a lot dark.
Dude, I love the dude who's like after he destroys Orga, Godzilla walks up and that dude just lights a cigarette. And he's like, nah, I'm going out.
I'm done.
They try to save him. He's like, no, Godzilla! And then he dies. So good. It's like, why? Why though? Because your plan for renewable energy from a meteorite fucked up, I guess. I don't know. Also, Orga's like weird alien form that's like classic gray alien thing looks pretty bad. That CGI thing.
Yeah,
that
anything with that is
bad.
just,
But then it turns into a dude in a suit, and it looks so much better.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. You look away from the terrible CGI, and you look back, and it's like, oh, thank God. Yeah, Godzilla just like walking in flames while Tokyo burns is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what we go out on. It's just everything's on fire. There's no happy ending or anything. It's, yep, Godzilla beat the alien.
We won.
Well, we're fucked.
Superman saved the city.
Won? It's all... Actually, it's more like, it's all our fault. We created Godzilla.
Yeah. Or the guys
We're
like, yeah, there's
terrible.
like some of Godzilla in all of us or whatever.
Yeah, there's a little Godzilla in all of us. That's the message of this movie.
Everybody's kind of
pretty
shitty.
We're pretty
So,
shit.
98 versus 2000. What's the verdict?
2000.
Yeah.
It's not...
Yep.
I could see a person saying they preferred 98. Like a person who's not super into Godzilla. But, I like Godzilla movies. So I like the Godzilla movie more than the
decidedly not Godzilla
disaster movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, I've, like, seen too many Roland Emmerich movies. I'm kind of... And I've seen the movies I've seen of his, I've seen too many times. I'm kind of sick of it. Like, Independence Day is really the one of his that can still hold up for me. But, yeah, I just don't... I watched, like, Godzilla 98, I would say, was like a movie. I rented it, like, twice in a week when it came out on video. Like, I did like that movie, but, I don't think it... I think it's aged pretty poorly, and it was already pretty... I was pretty compromised with what I liked about it anyway, because it wasn't, Godzilla to the extent that didn't have the stuff, didn't have the music, or the sounds. That's like such a huge thing. The death is so bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but those are like theoretically nitpicks, but also the characters are all terrible.
Yeah,
They're
no,
so
it's just
bad. It's
I
too
don't
long.
have much of a desire to
Doesn't
watch
have
it
that.
again, unless it's in a circumstance kind of like this, where if I've been introducing someone else to a shitload of Godzilla, I'm like, check this garbage out.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, yep. I don't think it's like the worst thing or anything. It's just not great or authentic.
Agreed.
So now we have Godzilla versus Megaguirus.
Or Megaguirus, depending. Potato, potato.
And I think Megaguirus was originally in Rodan.
Right.
I think like those bugs were definitely in a Toho movie before, and I think it was Rodan that they were in.
Mm-hmm.
Funny fact about Rodan, there are two Rodans in that movie.
Great.
There's a boy and a girl. Rodan's just a species. It wasn't supposed to be a particular monster, and then it just became a particular monster, kind of. But yeah, this one they reused the suit, so it's the same suit from Godzilla 2000. Is the big thing, and yeah, what did you think of this one?
I think that I thought that our knowledge of black holes in the year 2000 was a lot more advanced than this movie might lead someone to believe.
Man, they do not understand black holes.
Literally
at all.
not even fucking close.
It's just this big thing we shoot out of a cannon. It'll suck up Godzilla.
My favorite part
We're good,
is
right?
that it's fucking
What
mini
could happen?
black holes. Like when they shoot it at the house, it's like the demonstration or whatever, and they shoot it at that building, and it just sucks
Yeah.
up the building and nothing else. I'm like, you guys clearly don't know anything about black holes. Not a single astronomer was consulted, or physicist, or literally anybody who has read a book was consulted on the set of this film. But that's fine. Whatever. We'll roll with it. The wormhole thing was also weird. But, like, sure.
It's also weird to me that, like, the level of the military in this movie, like, we don't get tanks. We get dudes on foot with rocket launchers fighting Godzilla.
There was a lot more people. A lot more military people.
Yeah, there were no tank scenes. Like, Godzilla 2000 got us our tank scene, but this one didn't. It's like, where are the tanks, though? If you're gonna have the military fighting Godzilla, you've got a super weapon, but no, like, tanks? Okay. It was just mostly, which is fine, but it was just weird that they had, this movie starts with people with rocket launchers sneaking around, expecting to take on Godzilla.
Yeah.
It just didn't check out.
I guess since it's, it's not like they've seen Godzilla a ton before, because that reset. So
That's that's fair.
they're still stupid. They don't know better.
Yeah. There's that we get one of our main characters who's just like, no, I'm gonna shoot Godzilla with this rocket launcher, and her boss is like, yo, we should leave though, and she's like, no, we'll shoot Godzilla, and then that gets that dude killed trying to saving her, or actually saving her, and then she holds a grudge. But hilariously later, when she explains why she wants to hunt Godzilla, she says it's because of him, and I'm like, look, lady. He wanted you to run away. You were the one who was already like super too into hunting Godzilla already. Don't put that on him.
Excuse, lay off.
Now she has revenge as a true motivator. Instead of, I don't know what her motivation was before,
anger.
But she was into it.
Just didn't like Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. He kills a lot of people.
The CGI was
particularly in the next movie.
CGI was a bit better.
Yeah, it's a bit better.
There are
a lot of those bug things.
Little buggies, little buggy boys. They look decent. Still bad, but decent.
My problem with this movie is also that I don't like the characters.
Oh, like the humans.
The
least important part of the film.
Peoples. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. We get introduced to that one guy performing his weird magic trick.
Yep.
And then she comes in and blows up his spot and's like, no, it's not magic. There are tiny robots in this bowl that microwave this food and place it on this thing. And then the kids are like, oh, it's not magic. Fuck this. I'm like, these are fucking tiny robots. That's still cool. What are you talking about?
Count.
Kids are not into
magic.
it.
It's not worth.
Kids are not into it.
Fuck off with their science.
It's just weird. It's like, what's wrong with tiny robots?
Yeah. No, the characters definitely seemed boring.
Yeah.
Even just
then they introduced the head scientist lady, and she gets her own story of revenge from that same event where Godzilla destroyed that building, but we didn't see it at the time for whatever reason. But then we flash back to, oh, Godzilla also killed scientists, so scientists want revenge too. Yeah. It doesn't really come.
Look, everybody wants a piece of him, man.
But I mean, the thing that really gets me about this movie is the fucking ignorance that scientists have about their weapon being bad. Because it's such an ingrained thing in Godzilla movies for yo, science is bad though. The whole point of the problem with the oxygen destroyer was that it could be a thing that could be worse than Godzilla. If you have a thing that can beat Godzilla, it could be worse than Godzilla. And they never fucking connect that to their dumb black hole gun. Even when it summons another monster, they're like, it's fine, whatever.
Well, wait.
That's not a problem.
Wasn't one of these where the oxygen thing didn't go off? I thought that was a thing.
I don't think so. I never remember them explicitly talking about, but I don't remember which movie it was at this point. The oxygen destroyer thing happening, and that the scientists died, so they don't have that information anymore. But
I might be misremembering. I don't know.
I don't remember which movie that is, though. But I mean, definitely part of the point of the thing is they need a new super weapon to defeat Godzilla is because the oxygen destroyer information is gone. Nobody knows how to make that thing. Except that dude who also eventually made it in that other Godzilla movie we watched.
Instead, we'll just launch a shitload of black holes all over the place.
Black holes. What could go wrong with a satellite black hole cannon, Ben? What could possibly... Who would have a problem with a space railgun?
I think it's...
What fiction could ever exist in which people conquer planets with such a thing?
It's really hard to say because on paper, it looks fucking flawless. Rock solid.
Also, all the names for things in this movie are dumb. They're G Grasper.
Yep.
Bad.
Yep.
Bad group name.
I mean, that's on theme though. Terrible names for things. I forget what the acronym for the mech thing is that we watched last time.
Oh, right, for
Yeah, it
Magra.
was like Magra. Yeah, it was like I don't. It's basically the equivalent of like mega awesome, really cool. Go. It was just dumb,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
which is great. Like it's part of the charm.
Yeah. Also, then we get introduced to another character I hate, which is the little kid in this movie. And he successfully sneaks by a military blockade, because it's a good, military's good. But also because the military set up their weapons testing near a primary school for some reason.
I mean, what else?
Like that was okay. They're just nearby a primary school. Like, yeah, we'll blow up this building with their black hole cannon.
I mean, it sounds like you're suggesting there could be a better place to set up, but I don't see how you could possibly have any proof of that.
And then he meets our heroine, and he's like, "How are you in the army? You're a lady." Fuck you, kid. This kid. Also, then he eventually goes and finds the Megaguirus egg, and then it's leaky and gross. So he's like, "I'm just gonna dump this in the sewer." Fucking kids just dumping their pets down the sewer.
Icky. Yeah, and he just tucks it in, and it rolls for like that shot of it rolling looks so terrible.
It's like, what? You piece of shit kid.
Garbage.
Which is accurate. Kids are shitty. It's true to life. Also, and then our scientist dude is like, "Why are you working out? Godzilla's gonna be dead soon. There's no need to be physically fit. We're just gonna kill Godzilla with a black hole." Fuck fitness.
Yeah, that's our only job as the military. Literally nothing else. It's not like we're going to be doing anything else related to, fitness after he's dead. We're all just going to fucking sit around.
Get fat on
talking
the residuals.
Talking about the glory days of when we killed Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And then there are only two dudes in plumbing in the whole city who see the rising water, and they're like, "Yo, we gotta carry all this up." And it's like, just us? I'm not paying enough for this.
Yeah.
Or whatever. These comedy characters.
Yeah, because God's
it's like don't worry, I'll pay you more.
Godzilla, it's a very serious film franchise, and there's a lot of comic relief that's needed throughout each movie.
Yeah, you have to we need a palate cleanser. You get cut through the tension. Also, we get the Megaguirus bugs eating people, which would you describe that as not cereal friendly? With the goo, it's pretty gross. I like how they spit on people before they start eating them.
I feel like if you come to that early enough with a bowl of cereal, you might be okay. Like when the cereal still has a good crunch to it. But once that milk settles in, it's a no-go. Once the cereal starts getting a little spongy, a little squishy, even just a tiny bit, you're done. You're fucked. But some fresh...
Also, that... Yeah. What about that close-up on the molting? When they really get in there.
That was fine.
The first molting scene.
A little buggy doing a little molting. That's fine.
A little shed.
Big shed.
We get a good scene of a human being riding Godzilla. She just climbs right on there.
Yep.
Just hanging out. Puts a little tracker on him. Jumps off. Just fun times.
The big bug was meh.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not.
It's like great. Super, super worse Mothra, and also.
I mean, it's worse Batra.
Yeah, true.
Really, is what it is.
There was a shot. It's from under it, and it's just hovering in midair, and it looks terrible. Because it's just so not something that looks like it should be able to hover. It's perfectly horizontal, and its wings are just flapping super slowly. It doesn't It's just a bad shot.
We've got that scene of the scientist dude talking up his personal OS he uses that has like a sexy nurse on top of the screen at all times. It's like, it's much faster this way.
Faster
yeah,
this
buddy.
way.
It's weird, like the way the flooding of the city works, where it's just like, so they're just showing shots of like, oh, there's water coming up, and then the next they like cut away for a while and they cut back and this whole city is flooded. Just like everywhere.
Yep.
It's weird. It just, the military just seems understaffed. There's just not a lot of people.
I mean, maybe Godzilla just has killed a lot of them.
It's true. That could be. I don't know. There's still buildings there, though. I feel like if Godzilla just killed you off, there'd be less buildings around.
Well, maybe they fought away
did you see the end of Godzilla Millennium?
Yeah.
He fucks up a lot of buildings pretty quickly.
There's a lot of destruction.
But yeah, so Godzilla fights basically a swarm of mosquitoes, and they start eating him, and just like sucking off all over. He's like squashing him until eventually he like overheats, burns
and then
him
they
off.
get the big slurp.
And then they, oh yeah, well, and also they fire the big black hole cannon from space, but in a hurry because they're super impatient, so they don't calibrate it properly, so they miss. And Godzilla just climbs out of the dirt next to it. He's like, fine. And they're like, and we can't fire again for hours. And like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then their satellite runs out of fuel. Because that's how satellites work. It's not about like putting them in a safe orbit or anything. It's about just keeping them fueled up. And also, why did you fuck up that bad that you ran out of fuel?
My favorite fucking part about that is, again, it's like, it's 2000. Like, we know satellites-ish. And, like, that's why they all have the fucking solar panels on the sides, because, you're just, it's sun, you can power the battery. No, just put some fucking, like, I don't know, 87 octane in there. Don't worry about it. Shit, we need to do a spacewalk to restart the satellite. What's the procedure? It's fine. Have you ever started a lawnmower? Just out there fucking wrenching on the thing.
Just get a big hook. Space hook.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And then it like just starts like falling. But it's falling in like a straight line. It's just
and like they can still position it, like they can still aim it wherever they want as it's falling and falling apart. It still works.
As satellites do.
I love like they fire it and then it immediately explodes.
Oh, it was just
Oh, it's so good. Also, Megaguirus is basically a Digimon because it breaks all electronics in the area, just like our Digimon when it emerges into the real world.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's like a magnet or something. They talk
fucking
about
magnets. Yeah, that's right. It's magnetized. Man, that would have been a great fucking scene though if it was magnetized and we had like someone's watch flying off, getting stuck to it.
Yeah, man.
But nothing else.
I mean, it reminded me of that scene where Godzilla decided he was a magnet when he fought Mechagodzilla. He just suddenly was like, "Oh right, I'm a magnet. Pull you in." Oh, I really like when Godzilla's like, when Godzilla and Megaguirus are fighting and they're like, Megaguirus is basically playing peekaboo with him.
Yeah.
It's like popping in and out. And then he's like coming up from behind with his tail. And Godzilla just like grabs his tail with his tail and fucking tail whips, throws him. And then Godzilla does the body slam, which is the most hilarious thing we've seen since like the 70s.
No, it was
Godzilla like jumps up in the air and just slams down on him. So dumb.
It's begging. That clip is begging for like a John Cena thing.
And then Godzilla gets face fucked basically.
Well, I mean,
Megaguirus like sticks his tail thing in Godzilla's face and it like freeze frames. It's like, oh no! And then Godzilla bites off Megaguirus' dick.
Yeah.
Which lets Godzilla use his atomic breath again. Because while he kept getting stabbed by Megaguirus and it was fucking up his breath, or Megaguirus' like magnetic powers were fucking it up, it was not always clear to me. He was getting stabbed in like the lower abdomen.
That shot is so fucking good though. When he burns Megaguirus and it's just like that wide angle and it's just Megaguirus falling in flames or whatever.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Well, I mean, you really feel the extra minutes in this movie because Megaguirus dies and there are like
there's a lot
something
left.
minutes left.
Yeah, no, the extra, once
It's
again,
like-
extra 17 just fucking killing it.
Yeah. Then there's a great, so they fire the thing and they think they beat him or whatever, but we get the good line: Godzilla's vanished, game over. Godzilla's definitely not dead. Also, this movie ends with like a repeat scene of the lady going to the dude with his where he works, but then like she hits him and he says ow and then she apologizes and then we freeze frame and credits.
Yeah.
She said she was sorry. Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna fuck.
Yeah, no, the ending was like not great.
And then this movie is the first one with a post-credit scene.
Oh fuck, there was a
where,
post-credit
like,
scene?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
shit.
just the kid from earlier finally delivers his fucking dead butterflies or
Great.
whatever in a classroom, and then you hear Godzilla's roar, and he's like looking at something, being scared.
No. Rip kid.
Yeah. This one is weird.
Yeah, it's okay. But
Yeah. But it definitely it feels more throwbacky in terms of being a little more frivolous and silly, I would say. But Megaguirus just kind of sucks as a monster.
yeah, no, 100%. I didn't really care about Megaguirus at all. Like the monster. It's
Yeah.
meh.
And the black hole thing is
It's so dumb. It's terrible. Godzilla and everybody else on it are-
and I don't and I just don't like the characters. But Godzilla is, it's a Godzilla movie.
Yep.
It's still fun. It's a fun time. So now we've got our last film, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack.
I really like this one.
This one's really good. So fun fact about this one though is, as it was scripted, it wasn't going to be Mothra and King Ghidorah. It was going to be Anguirus and Varan. Varan had his own movie and was like in Destroy All Monsters for like one shot.
Okay.
He's like a sort of similar four-legged monster like that, but he can like glide.
Gotcha.
Is like his thing. So that was sort of the idea, is like these three smaller, lesser monsters versus Godzilla. But Toho was like, yo, we need that bank, though. We need those marketable creatures. Got to have Mothra and King Ghidorah in there. So the dude was like, okay, but they're both smaller than they normally are. And King Ghidorah's faces,
It's
the dude who made the costumes, was his favorite monster was Varan, so he gave King Ghidorah Varan faces.
yeah, like I don't know. King Ghidorah looks weird, but this is like the first King Ghidorah film I've liked because his origin wasn't fucking deep space or some stupid bullshit.
No, it's just a completely different origin, and he's a good guy. It's just
See,
weird.
That's kind of what I liked about it, though. I don't know. I like that origin. Also, seeing Mothra without those dumbass twins singing their 20-minute song over and over.
Yeah, they also cut out.
perpetually.
They cut out the twin fairies because it wasn't originally Mothra, so there wasn't room
Yeah,
for
and
them.
that's great. It was a top tier decision. the
And they also make Mothra more look like a butterfly.
Yeah.
She's not as fuzzy as she's been.
I like the design. I was a fan of it.
Yeah, no, it's good. And also, we have a new Godzilla suit for this movie, and he's creepy white
Yeah,
eyes.
he looks blind.
Yeah,
But no,
it's to make him look
the
more evil.
Mothra
because he's the
The
bad
Mothra
guy.
song, like, I enjoyed it so much more as like a backing track as part of that instead of a stupid solo thing. It was nice.
Yeah, yeah. And that's more of like an older
Yeah.
movie thing. Movies used to just be willing to go like, yeah, we're just gonna play this whole song here.
So
Got to pad that runtime to
we got
130.
Mothra, we got Ghidorah, we got what is it? Baragon.
Baragon.
I need to look. I couldn't remember.
Or Red Godzilla, as they call him.
Not to forget the fourth monster, that dude with the really long hair. Just looked real greasy a lot.
Yep.
Wasn't a fan.
Not wrong. I mean, you're not even talking, and you didn't even mention the ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all that weird
So
spirit
my favorite
shit.
part about this movie is that in this movie, Godzilla is the reincarnated souls of people who died in World War II,
No, it's great.
and they're just fucking pissed.
Yeah, it's like something about people like not recognizing the atrocities or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so there, and we get good scenes of like teens doing bad teen shit or whatever. Or like a motorcycle gang gets killed. Like, oh, you people, you're being frivolous, not remembering the horrors of war. Get fucked.
You're not spending every day
Very slash-
wallowing.
It's very slasher movie-esque. Like people doing doing slightly bad things, or in some cases really bad things, like that group of teens that was gonna drown that dog.
Yeah, no, they were
Fuck
they were
those guys.
scumbags, dude.
They're like, yeah, let's just fucking rob this store, break this shrine, and kill this dog.
Yep.
In that order. It's just rough. They killed my Mothra, though.
I mean, deservedly, yeah. That scene was so.
But I don't know that the dog
was
lived.
so like they're on the boat, and Mothra capsizes it before she turns into like her final form or whatever.
And then they start disappearing.
Well, the one guy, the one
Mothra's,
guy
like,
goes
eating
under,
them.
and he's like talking shit or something. And he gets pulled under, and the girl's like, "Can't you even swim?" And like she gets pulled under, and it's like he wasn't slowly sinking or struggling. He very clearly got dragged down, and you're like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, it turns to like Jaws for like a second, but it's Mothra, which is hilarious.
The energy effects in this were so good. Like this is the one where I was like, "Yo, the special effects are looking real sick." CGI is still a little touch and go, but
yeah, there's some good shit here,
and it blends well. It's not like I don't know, fucking special edition Star Wars or whatever, where it just looks like there's a mismatch of technology. Like it's still a dude in a suit, but also the atomic breath looks really good.
Also, yeah,
The explosions.
the best special effect though is that old guy I think he must have seen Baragon or something, but he's like, I saw Godzilla, and his like tongue is all moving weird. He's just like. He's just like, oh, he's freaked out, but his tongue is doing weird stuff in his mouth.
That's like
Good.
early on, that guy.
Yeah,
I wrote that down as like the shock trauma, like this person's traumatized because I saw Godzilla or whatever. It's it just looks so terrible.
He's overacting for sure. It's not. He's just being weird.
I feel like
He's just
the
being
size of Godzilla in this film was also weird. They like went into his his mouth, man. They drove a thing inside of him.
Yeah.
Not even like someone got eaten and they're in his stomach, just like, I'm gonna fly this thing in there.
Yeah. It's true. Look, he's very big.
Apparently, yeah.
And mean.
And mean. He's definitely definitely mean in this one, yeah. No doubt about it. I also kind of like that as far as like, there's
They made him look less like a cat.
yeah.
Compared to like this the 70s ones, the later 70s ones.
But I like the concept of like the guardian spirits. Like that sort of. I enjoy that. Again, I've just been waiting for, I don't know, 50 years now for a different origin for King Ghidorah. I thought I was, or a different, like, I really thought in my heart that when we saw the 3 little mini Ghidorahs being left on the island and then mutated, I really thought that we were going to have a different origin. I was so excited. But then, nope, people just made him again. I was so disappointed. I thought it was just a happy accident, and it wasn't. It was a malicious deed. But here, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted for King Ghidorah.
He's a guardian spirit. Good guy. Who has 8 heads, but he's just a little baby. So he hasn't grown his extra heads yet.
So it's like, some Hydra shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's based on... Like, that character's always based on that myth of the 8-headed thing. That's classic Japanese folklore, I think. Like, my favorite thing in this movie, though, may be that guy peeing during the storm and quake, and then Baragon steps on him. Dude, he's peeing all over the place. That
reminds me of the... That was in... Shit, which one of these was it? Oh, Godzilla 2000. There's that nice, slightly too long shot of the dude like trimming his nose hairs, and like the building gets destroyed or whatever. It's like the same. It's the same general shit. It's just like I didn't need this, but also this is this
is perfect. My favorite line is I might have misquoted it slightly, but it's like. The reporter lady is just thinking to herself after she's talked to the old guy and been told about this myth. And she's like, if spirits are another form of electricity, maybe they could be stored in stone.
I fucking wrote that down, or that bit, like just about how like that fucking theme with it is like they're obsessed with the meteorite for energy. They have plasma energy, which is banned, but also secretly doing it. Like all this shit with like... It's so weird and dumb, but great. And then the stone, so the stone, like, goes down into Ghidorah's head. What does that do? Exactly.
Well,
missed that.
Their souls, all 3 of the guardian spirits, their souls are stored in idols so that they can regenerate over time.
Okay.
And that stone that she has is a part of Ghidorah's that's broken off.
Gotcha. So
like
going back.
You see the old man in the cave with that idol, and it has the little crack in its head. That's that section of it.
Okay.
So it's like an extra bit of his soul that he doesn't have.
Yeah. So then that like powers him up. That scene was good. Also.
Yeah.
The transition from his roar, like when he wakes back up into the people like falling into the water, was so good. I really enjoyed that. That's like one thing. They're definitely getting like more cinematic in ways that aren't obtrusive, generally, or they're obtrusive just as much as any of the other dumb things are, intrusive.
Yeah.
So,
look, there's also that dude who tries to hang himself with his tie,
and he falls into
and he like steps on the idol, and then it just opens the earth.
No,
and he finds
I came to that scene, and I was like,
out.
oh no. How far are they gonna fucking take this? And then but I was worried there.
Also, I just like when people are screaming at Baragon because Baragon's so silly looking.
I wrote down,
and then people are just freaking out.
I'm like, I can't tell if it's dumb or adorable or both. Like it's just kind of it's like
this is so good.
Yeah, it just looks so happy and stupid.
I also just like that people are like, see whatever giant monster it's like, it's Godzilla!
Oh, Godzilla.
Like, they're all Godzilla. It's clearly not Godzilla, but it's definitely
parents
Godzilla.
And gaming systems.
And they just start calling him Red Godzilla. They have to, like, later on, the military's like, okay, we have to fucking name them because some of them are not things we have to kill. It's like the reason that they agree to take their names.
I know, it's a little... I think... the fight scenes were okay in this movie. But I don't know. They didn't seem as great as in other ones. They're fine.
No, they're
It
not
seems
quite
like there was.
they're not quite as
It
good.
feels like It feels like in this film we kind of sort of equalized a little, where the non-monster parts are also really solid. Like I didn't feel like the guy with the tie watching the people do stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that was nice.
Yeah. I like that Godzilla just... We get that shot of civilians running, and then Godzilla just opens fire on them.
No, he's...
Because that's fucking brutal in a way that these movies haven't been.
Yeah, no, he's like...
You know,
He's a villain in this one.
definitely... He's a villain. He's the bad guy.
It's really good.
He's just like, oh, there are Japanese people here. I'm going to kill them.
Yeah. The fact that we had more of that... I don't know, like...
Though my favorite people are... I also just love the... Godzilla's coming, and the person who's like, quick, take a photo, and then we'll run.
Yep.
Selfie. and then they get, like, a fucking avalanche kills them all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good shit.
That reminded me of Godzilla 98, when Broderick is just like fucking centimeters away, like... I'm like, dude, it's flashing right in its fucking eyes. You're gonna get decimated.
Yeah. I like that because, like, the theme of this movie is, like, fucking millennials. So, the selfie part, like, yeah. That's what this movie is. Back in 2001. Fucking millennials.
Fucking kids these days.
And then Godzilla kills the shit out of Baragon.
Yeah. I mean, he kills the shit out of a lot
I
of things.
really like when Godzilla tail flips him into that helicopter.
Yeah. Anything...
Oh, that's so good.
And he still just has that stupid grin on his face.
He's just always happy. Baragon's just always...
Like-
he's always game, man. He's ready
down
for it.
anything.
He's okay that he didn't get his name in the title. He's okay. He can deal. He's a gamer.
He's a gamer.
He's a team player.
So Godzilla defeats shit. And then, was it all of them? I know Mothra's soul, like, comes out. Was it all of theirs? I just
Yeah.
can remember the image of Mothra, like, her soul coming out.
We definitely get a shot of Baragon's soul at some point, but I don't know when his energy
And then they, like...
gets in. I think it's only at the end.
Because they're, like, dragging him down. That was just, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
more dumb but awesome things.
We get a good scene. Another one of the scenes of people running. So there's someone who goes, "Good luck, everyone! You're gonna die! Yay!"
It's just so odd. It's such a morbid, like...
There's just so many. There's so many good little morbid moments in
Yeah.
this one.
In this one,
But yeah, Godzilla blasts Mothra and she completely disintegrates.
Also a great
Just
shot.
Super dead.
the explosion was so
Yes.
good.
And then her, like, she's dusted, and then it all just, like, travels into Ghidorah to power him up.
In what some have called a JoJo
there's, like-
reference.
Very anime. I like when the reporter later gives her speech while she's filming Godzilla, and then immediately the bridge she's on gets totally fucked up. It's like whenever we get... People are either morbid or they're, like, just about to get killed.
Yeah.
It's like... There's definitely... Like, you definitely feel the impact of stuff happening here. Even at... Like, Ghidorah gets powered up so many times, and he still gets fucking, like, vaporized.
Yeah,
So,
no, it doesn't.
Godzilla is just so much stronger in this movie than everyone else, which I also like. I like Godzilla being fucking the strongest thing.
No, that's a
'Cause
good...
he's the title one. He should be tough.
He's thick.
He's a big boy. And then that dude drives the sub into Godzilla's mouth and fires. He's like looking for that wound, but I feel like firing your missile out of the wound is not what I would have thought would be the way you would want to find a wound.
Yeah,
and hit
I
it.
didn't fucking get that at all. Like, the wound was given externally. Why are you looking on the inside of him?
Yeah.
It
I
was,
don't-
It was
I didn't
weird.
get it.
Yeah.
Also, that dude lives, which is like
Yeah, that was dumb.
it's jarring. Very like considering everything they built up into like him sacrificing himself and how willing this movie is just to kill people. But nope,
Not him.
that dude lives. And then we find out the old man that was given advice about the spirits was a ghost man who died a long time ago. And then we get a great ending shot of Godzilla's beating heart on the bottom of the seafloor.
Yeah. It's such a weird thing to have.
It's super
I
weird.
think, in my opinion,
You're like, no, we definitely blew up Godzilla this time, but there's his beating heart
fuck
because
does
he's a ghost
yeah,
man.
see, that's the, like just a weird, like, imagine a sequel.
Yeah, because this movie is way more interested in Godzilla as like a spiritual enemy than it isn't. The radioactive stuff is just like
Side bit.
it's just there because it
has to be at this point.
But yeah, like this one is more like interested in like spirits and
Yeah.
stuff, ghosts.
But
It's just
Like,
like
what's
what's the
the-
take? Which is like the which is totally the benefit of just keeping to reboot it every time. Of like you can just do a different take. Like that's part of my problem with the Megaguirus one is like we just had a reboot. Like why did you need to reboot this? You're not doing anything that requires that. This one at least is like giving a different
Yeah.
take.
I have an ending suggestion that I think might be slightly better.
Sure.
Depending. Keeping in line with the spirit thing.
You just see the ghosts of everyone who died in World War II standing on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, and then
Staring
and then
at
a
you.
voice as the camera pans out, the voice goes "Ooh," and it fades to black.
They say we will be watching.
Oh, see, I was thinking at first, I don't know. I guess if you want to do a sequel based off of exactly how it ended, then you need it. But maybe show the heart beating and then have it stop or something. And then I was like, no. You have the heart beating, and then you have the heart stop, and then you have like the weird ghosty spiritual thing, like in the same shape of the heart, rise from it still beating. There you go. That way,
Well, we're not getting a sequel
Yeah,
to this
yeah.
movie, so.
but if they
doesn't
wanted
matter
to have
anymore.
Spirit Godzilla come back, that would be fucking great. Ghost Godzilla. It's just Godzilla, but he's fucking like see-through, just destroying buildings.
He's just wearing a sheet over him.
Oh man. Okay, does he wear it over his snout, or does he have like a little snout hole?
He needs a snout hole because he has to do his atomic breath.
So he has like a little snout hole.
Eye holes and snout hole.
Maybe no eye holes. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he can't. See.
Just a
Yeah,
snout
he
hole?
can't see, so he's just.
Nice.
He's not trying to.
I mean,
destroy
yeah,
something.
you're right. He doesn't have pupils, so that works.
Yeah, he's not. He's just
Doesn't
running
have
into
pupils,
stuff.
so yeah, just a snout hole.
But
Oh,
it
that's
has to
so
be
good.
long enough so that when he like raises his arms, like the sheet is still over his arms. That'd be fucking great. All right, so
His little tail sticks out under the
yeah,
sheet.
yeah. Now you got it.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. So Megaguirus or Godzilla versus the world.
Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, giant monsters. All
Yeah, that's what I
attack
said.
Is the better.
Oh, okay.
It's the better movie.
Yeah. No, not even a contest.
And that's
Yeah,
my,
that's
that's
the-
my winner
Yep,
overall.
that's
too.
the one up. It's pretty. It's not even
Yeah.
close this time, honestly.
No.
Yep. Nice to have an easy decision for once. On the other hand, had to watch the other 3 movies to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, the 98 one is just such a different thing but it's like it was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So important to cover. Yeah, I think that's an episode.
Hell yeah, dude.
And next time we do one of these episodes, which should be in like 5 weeks. We'll be wrapping it up.
Yeah.
So we will be covering Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which is a direct sequel. Godzilla Final Wars, the 2014 Legendary Pictures American Godzilla movie, and then the Shin Godzilla, which is the most recent Toho movie, which came out in 2016 in Japan.
Yeah.
It was 2017 in the US, but we're not covering the Netflix movies, but we will do, I don't know, we might do those someday in the future, because there are some bonus episodes I also want to do, but those are 2 commentary episodes.
Yeah.
So you can email us, saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter @saltcirclepod. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify as Salt Circle Podcast. And you can find our episodes hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. I'm on Twitter @comicpanels.
And I'm on Twitter @bean_LP. It's not even, it wasn't Godzilla. It's just a big fucking lizard.
It was a lot of fish.
For kids.